Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games and a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is F1 2018, and this is week 47 of the Gaming Decathlon competition. And we are coming towards the end of season number 1. And we are in Japan, with 5 races left to go in the season. Alright, on to contract negotiation for the final time this season, I believe. Should be about 5 races left to go in this season, so makes sense if it's the final time. Reputation, very, very high. My value has gone up quite a bit, so I should be able to get a bit more out of this contract.
The more ambitiously we set our targets, the more willing the team will be to give us better perks. We'll have a few chances to suggest a deal, but we need to be careful. If a proposed contract exceeds your value to the team, it will be rejected, and too many attempts will leave us stuck with the original offer.
Okay, I'm probably not in a position to get level 3s on everything yet. We'll try level 1 on simultaneous development. Okay, I'm gonna flip these. I qualify better than I race often. I think I might go with the medium goal, a little easier to attain, and I might be able to get the perks a little easier. Let's try that, see where we're at.
They aren't coming round to that proposal.
Not even close.
Let's try something else.
Okay, bringing that down to level 2 should help. And maybe 16th, let's try that.
All right.
That was
Plan's
enough,
been agreed.
perfect.
All that's left is to sign the paperwork. You'll be on this new deal from the next race weekend.
Alright, so the new deal, 16-16 on placement, medium team goals, but I got upgrade speed at level 3, the race bonus is level 3, pit stop efficiency up to level 2, and we can make 2 upgrades per department at the same time. And we have 2,000 points to spend here as we go forward. And with upgrades already active, coming in 2 weeks here, there's nothing else I could do in the chassis department. So we head to the aero department, and we will finish off the department efficiency in the wind tunnel.
Welcome to the only figure of 8 track on the F1 calendar. We're here at Suzuka for qualifying today ahead of the Japanese Grand Prix. Many of the drivers have commented on the challenge posed by the high-speed direction changes around this circuit, but you still need to be quick in a straight line. Is that a fair layman's appraisal?
Drivers are going to need a nicely balanced car to be fast here. They'll need to get the most out of the medium and high-speed corners, which will push them to run more downforce. But in turn, this slows the car down on the straights. It's a tricky balancing act.
Alright, after my first time out here in Q1, I am P14, which is probably not going to be good enough, so I will need to put in a second lap, but I am pretty close to that cutoff for hitting or reaching Q2. So we'll put on a fresh set of Super Softs to see if we can't reach Q2. After heading back out with a second attempt, I was still short on time, so I continued around with now used tires to try to improve my time. And you can see I'm close, but I'm still behind my time. So that first lap is going to be all I get, and as a result, I come up just short in P16. So that'll be my start position for the race is P16. In the session, it's Vettel, Verstappen, Bottas, and Ricciardo at the top. Back five, myself, Gasly, Hartley, Ericsson, and Sirotkin. So my teammate, the Toro Rossos, and half of the Sauber team will start behind me at least. So I'm the best of that group. I'm a good second and a half better than Sirotkin. So I am getting a lot out of the car comparatively, but not enough as I'm still 0.4 of a second behind the likes of Van Dorn and everyone else. Even Hamilton squeezes his way through on soft tires, as does Vettel, Bottas, and Raikkonen. But you can see just a huge difference in time between Vettel and Hamilton, a good second between them. So with that, we're going to be heading to the race here at the Japanese Grand Prix.
We're live today from the Mie Prefecture of Japan as we look forward to the Japanese Grand Prix. The 2015 race here was one of only 5 Grand Prix in history to feature no retirements at all. Although with the highly competitive field we have today, I don't expect we'll be repeating that stat anytime soon. A lap of this historic racetrack covers 3.6 miles, and it's the only time during the season that we race on a figure-of-8 racetrack. The drivers can expect some intense G-forces through the 18 corners on offer here as they experience some of the highest average apex speeds on the Formula One calendar. And keep an eye out for overtakes going into the final chicane. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. We have a really close scrap at the top of the championship at the moment, and they're right in the thick of it. But any mistake now could be disastrous. They must be starting to feel the pressure at this point, and surely there's a real shot at the title on the cards here, but one error at the wrong time, well, that could throw it all away.
Of course, there's never a good time to make mistakes, but it will feel 10 times worse if it happens at such a critical point of the season. Let's hope this contest is settled where it should be, on track, wheel to wheel.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And Lewis Hamilton completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ricciardo, Bottas, Carlos Sainz, and Ocon, Perez, Grosjean, Raikkonen, and Stoffel Van Dorn, Leclerc, the Professor, Pierre Gasly, and Verstappen. They've taken a grid penalty. Ericsson, Sirotkin, Nico Hülkenberg, and Kevin Magnussen. Hartley and Fernando Alonso starts from the back of the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Okay, watch out at the race start. There will be faster cars trying to get past. See if you can hold them off.
Wow, will there ever? Do I want to stay out long then with the fast cars behind me? Yep, let's go ahead and flip the strategy here. Looks like we can get 7 laps. We could almost... Well, let's get 7 laps out of softs. And then we'll get 6 out of super softs. There you go. Alright, fuel. A little bit of extra. I don't need a lot of extra here. It's only one strong overtaking area, and the rest of the course I'm pretty good on fuel wear. So with multiple grid penalties to numerous cars, I'm bumped up all the way to P12, which is probably the highest position I'll see all race. I'm really nervous about the beginning of this race. Once I get into clean air, I think I can get through smoothly enough. But again, where I'm at now, AI difficulty-wise, I only have 2 flashbacks at my disposal. I'm really nervous about this track and getting nose to tail with another car. I cannot afford any wing damage here with these high-speed corners, this rhythm section. I'm getting a lot better at running it. This is not a good track for me. This is a track that I could easily be at the back of the grid on. So holding this 12th position, it seems unlikely. Getting points here seems unlikely. And I could possibly be in last place if I do take some damage and don't have the flashbacks left to use. At this point, if I do take damage, I intend on using those flashbacks because that's going to be it. I mean, that's race over if I do. There's no getting by here with a damaged wing. So with that, we are in Japan for the Japanese Grand Prix. 5 races left to go in my first season. The car's starting to come along, but the aero's not there yet. But now that the wind tunnel is done, we're going to work on the department efficiency for the aerodynamics. And at the beginning of next season, I'll start making those aerodynamic upgrades, as well as continuing with the chassis upgrades that are super cheap now that the department is maxed out. Well, with that, we're going to put those 5 lights up, and we're going to go racing. Got Van Dorn in front of me. I got Leclerc beside me. I got a bunch of wheel spin there. I timed it really well, but I got a ton of wheel spin, and I just slide right backward. Good start so far. I got a little bit in the grass there and lost a little bit more ground than I had planned on. So Magnussen pulls away there, but we're in line and we're clean through so far. No damage there. I got a little touch of wheels with Magnussen. Heavy braking. That was actually kind of close. Luckily, I had a little gap to Magnussen. Otherwise, that would have been a touch. Ooh, dive to the inside. That was unintentional pass, but that was that was everyone getting backed up because of the tight corner there. So I'm now up to P15 after dropping a couple spaces early on. This is actually better than where I technically qualified, though it was not as good as where I started on the grid. And I was driving totally straight there, and the Renault took me out. I was actually just checking my rearview mirror to see where he was, driving 100% straight, did not touch the wheel. Track had not curved yet, so that was totally on him. I was in the middle of the track, so I wasn't giving him a lot of space, but we'll go from right here. There he goes, making another move on me. And the man who in real life had a real problem on lap 1, Max Verstappen, who picked up a penalty for pushing Raikkonen off the track here, was clean through that time, but he's a lot further back than he wants to be. I'm sure, down in P14 after he picked up some penalties as well, among many other cars. A little too much grass for my liking there, so it was not a very good sequence. Off a little bit here, coast. Another dive to the inside, this time up to P13. Apparently that is the best place for me to pass right now. just staying tight to the inside. Actually, I'm having a terrible race so far, yet somehow I'm in P13. Just because of traffic, really. But one flashback already used after the Renault took me out, and here I've got, I believe, Leclerc to the inside, but I actually able to block, even though I didn't really block. I was trying to let him go, but he pulled out of it.
Race officials have enabled DRS. DRS is now.
Alright, well this time on lap number 3, I go from a big gap to closing right down on Gasly, so that has been a really, really good corner for me there.
Some energy harvesting, reduce ERS deployment.
Huh? Should have gotten DRS there. I did not. And as a result, there goes Marcus Ericsson and Max Verstappen. There's a touch from behind, and another touch! Took me out twice!
That looked bad.
He hit me once, that wasn't enough. He's got to hit me twice. It's the Renault again. No. This time it's the Haas that took... Actually, 3 times the Haas hits me and takes me out. That is my final flashback of the race. So here late on lap number 4, I'm in P13. Also a couple of positions, but otherwise I'm in a relatively good race. The downside is that after just 4 laps, I'm out of flashbacks, and in both cases, it's been other cars taking me out. Here, Hulkenberg has the pace to go by, so there's nothing I can do to hold him off. Magnussen behind me. He was the last one who took me out, and here he goes again. I'm gonna let him go. A lot of wheel spin coming out of there, and as a result, my teammate has gone by, and I'm just going to have to let him go and concede the spot, as at this point, I'm in danger of a really, really bad race, including a DNF, if I cannot keep this thing clean. So, at this point, fighting for positions is not going to do me much good, and so, for the first time, pretty much all season, my teammate has just raced right on by. Goes a Toro Rosso as well. I let him go by and actually end up recovering the position, and then it takes him a second try as he goes to the inside there, and Hartley completes the move. We have DRS here. I finally have a little bit of space. I jump up to P9, but here is yellow on course as Ericsson's got a problem there. And we go on by. And I'm up to P8 at the moment, but that's because a lot of the field just pit. One more lap away from my one stop of the race. Got a pretty good gap behind me to Ricardo, but that's the problem. It's Ricardo, so he will catch up to me. Hopefully not before I get to the end of next lap. And both Hartley and Sirotkin head into the pits. It's going to give me some nice clean air. Thought I was within 1 second, but apparently I was just over a second, so no DRS there. Would have been a nice place to get that DRS. I finally get some clean air to run in for the first time all race.
Some information on Vettel. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Woo. Massive wheel spin coming out of there. As a result, I'm going to let Ricardo go. Just lost a good half a second. Raikkonen's the one who is close behind me now. Good chance he'll make a move here on the straight. Goes Raikkonen around to the outside.
Box this lap, please.
Oof. Got some understeer as I prepped. I almost went off there, but we're going to head into the pits. Ooh, that was close. Almost got myself a penalty. I got just below the speed mark. 77k.
Exit now.
Alright, so we come out currently in 9th, now 10th, 11th. We'll see where we are here in a moment. Still 11th, now 12th, 13th, 14th. Here goes the bulk of the field. It's pretty close here in the back, but I'm the one in the back. And there goes Hartley and Sirotkin. There we go. So P18, Magnussen in 19th. So I come back in the same position that I was in before the pit, at least, so I didn't lose anything. Woo! But I definitely had a lot of wheel spin there. Ended up with oversteer. Almost lost the position to Magnussen. Magnussen is very close on me here at the moment. Still trying to get these tires up to temperature.
Let's turn up the ERS deployment and burn some of this energy. Caution, caution.
There is Gasly off the track. It looks like he's having a DNF here. Didn't see any damage, so it's possible he had an engine problem. Hartley making a move, and here is Magnussen making a move. Sirotkin stays ahead, but I do not, so Magnussen gets by. Hopefully I can follow him through, as I seem to at least be able to match the pace of Sirotkin and Hartley. Yellow flags, yellow flags. Slow car.
Great maneuver. You made it look easy.
It wasn't double yellows. I end up overtaking Sorokin, no penalty.
Okay, clear.
I come between him and Hartley. Whew. Sorokin trying to make a run. And we touch. No damage as far as I know. But I'm into P16 now. Which is where I started, or at least where I qualified. Okay, I got a run here on Hartley. I might be able to make something stick. Had a look. That's where I've made most of my overtakes today. Getting some oversteer now here. The tires are starting to fall off a little bit or pushing too hard. Okay, with DRS, we should be able to make this move, and we do pretty easily. I'm into clean air for the second time this race, as I've been behind traffic literally throughout.
There's only one lap of fuel remaining.
Alright, I've opened up a pretty good gap on Hartley here, but he has got a little bit of a run. And Sebastian Vettel out of the race here with just 2 laps to go, and for him, he's on to that last lap. So, a last lap incident for Sebastian Vettel, knocking him out of the race.
Final lap of the race. Caution, caution.
Ooh, that was tight. That was the best wheel-to-wheel racing that I've had here in this race, and the first time that it resulted in no incident, no contact whatsoever. Alright, Hartley should be just about far enough back. This is going to be P13 after all of these DNFs, really. Quite a few of them.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Amazingly, I end up with a decent finish in P13 after so many cars end up out of the race, and I struggle through that one. Difficult track for me. P13 is actually a really good result that I can give myself a little pat on the back for. But Lewis Hamilton is the race winner today.
And then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long
Van
way.
Doren takes 9th for the McLaren. Picks up a couple of points.
And here are our podium drivers today after that
Bottas
excellent
second.
race.
Big result for them with
They've excelled here,
Raikkonen
as they so
third.
often do,
That's going to
and it's a
help
well-deserved
Mercedes
victory.
potentially win the
are on top
Constructors,
today.
as they were ahead by a relatively small margin. And with Vettel out of the race, that should be a 0-point scoring day for him.
And now let's take a look at the drivers' standings. Lewis Hamilton takes the lead of the Drivers' Championship. And now I'd like to ask you, Anthony Davidson, who was your driver of the day?
Fernando Alonso. Wherever he is, whatever team he's in, when is he not just brilliant? He'll give you a performance every time, just like he's done today.
On to the Constructors then. Mercedes have extended their lead at the top of the standings. Meanwhile, good work from Force India this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. Well, what a weekend that has been. Please join us next time for another thrilling installment of this Formula One season.
So 4 DNFs. Grosjean, Gasly actually finishing +1 lap. Vettel and Magnussen all out of the race. Sorokin last on the grid without problems. You can see just how tight we were from myself and P13 back to Sorokin. Just 5 seconds, not even 5, just over 4 seconds separating us. And there was a good little gap from me up to Ocon in P12. But a rare finish ahead of Alonso for Van Dorn. Verstappen only gets up to 7th after starting in P14 and definitely being in the back of the grid for most of the race. His teammate Ricciardo finishes down in 5th. Carlos Sainz gets 4th place for Renault. And top 3, Hamilton, Bottas, Raikkonen. Standings now with just 4 more races after this one. So tight at the top. Hamilton now on top of his teammate Valtteri Bottas by just 2 points. Vettel now falling back to 38 points behind. Raikkonen closing in on his teammate, just 9 points behind him, with Ricciardo and Verstappen the next best. I stay in P13 as Perez overtakes Ocon for P11 in the standings. Hulkenberg moves ahead of Grosjean. And Magnussen fails to pick up points again, staying behind me, just 2 points behind. If anybody's going to overtake me in the standings, it's likely to be him. But Stoffel Van Dorn on 6 points for the whole season, so he just got a third of his total in that race. But in the Constructors, now 83 points ahead for Mercedes with 4 races to go. Red Bull almost 300 behind. Force India 500 behind, but 50 behind Renault as they move ahead of Haas by just 3 points.
Good day today. Tell us about it from your perspective.
You're surpassing all expectations. Can anything or anyone stop you?
Let's give credit to the power unit. Try to lift their
You
morale
had
a bit.
Close battle today, didn't you?
I'm going to go with the too close. He's been a thorn in my side because of the rivalry and the team likes showmanship.
Appreciate your time.
Even though I would have answered the other way. Personally. Oh good, I get the fastest lap over both of them. Just 3 points shy of beating Sorokin for a third time now. I should definitely pick that up in the next race. And in my first rivalry against Brendan Hartley, I'm +8 and 6 points away from locking that one down. It's possible that I'll get that in the next race as well if I have a similar result to this race weekend. .378 points added now, over 1,300.
Great work. That's exactly the kind of result I'm looking for. Keep it up. We've received invitations to new historic events. You'll be able to choose.
We're going to go ahead and call it right there. So that's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe and tune in next time on my Road to the Record. Bye for now.